what was it? Craft beer Wednesdays. Hanging out with people in college, and like all of like our families are all from different parts of the British Isles. So we would just always jokingly give each other shit because we're like, we didn't really grow up hating other people, but like we know the stories from the Isles about how like only your people are good from the Isles. Everybody else is a sheep fuck.
Everybody else
on that because we're like again, obviously we're not the sheep fuckers. You're the sheep. It's like, it's like the common insult of the British Isles is everybody else is a sheep fucker.
You, my friend, are the sheep fucker. How dare
it's kind
you?
Of true. I may be fairly far removed from the islands, but like I'm pretty sure that is a universal insult there.
Yeah, I'm pretty
like
sure it is.
It's translated like over whatever, damn near 100 years or something from us getting to North America. I feel like that is something that is still an insult. I mean, I use it as a joke, which maybe I shouldn't. I mean, maybe the English people will get mad at me and I'll have to deal with that.
Maybe? Who knows?
I don't actually know what sense of humor English people have. Also, I say English people because according to my DNA test, I am absolutely not English. I am everything else on the British Isles, but I am not English.
You are not English.
Which I find hilarious because, yeah, according to DNA results, it's like, yeah, your family has, like, always been on the island. Like, always. But we have never associated with the English.
Never associated.
But again, like, I laughed when I got that results back, because I'm like, that takes dedication. It's not a big island in the grand scope.
The grand scope of things, it is not big.
Like, it should be fairly easy to, interbreed with most of the British Isles, you would think. Especially considering that, like, it seems like the family has gone back, like, 1,000 or more years on the island. Like as far as I can tell from the results, it's like we may have been born there. I know that's not where humans come from, but like that's where the DNA comes from.
That's where your DNA comes from, at least.
I liked it. Yeah, when I first got my DNA results back, it was like there was 2% of my DNA came from outside of Europe, and then they changed that.
It's like, no. That is far too much.
It's like, I am, like, possibly scary levels of inbred. I'm like, we really need to get out of our zones a little bit, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit, you know?
Like, I find it very humorous in my own regard.
It is. To be honest, it is actually pretty funny.
Because there's more to the world.
I'm not sure about that.
Yes. Because I believe it's like, too, just like the other family history like we have. It's like, my mom found that we share DNA markers with like a group of people on the western coast of Canada. But
really?
Due to the other family history and genetics, there's no way that, like, we came... The only way that we could share these genetic markers is, like, when the European Asians, like, actually migrated over the Great Bering Strait land bridge. Like, whatever that migration was. And I'm... like, happened. That is, like, the only way that we could figure out, like, in these markers, like, for us to share these markers.
Yeah, because otherwise it just makes zero sense. Like, how did you guys...
nobody else in our family histories, as far as we can tell, has made it to the West Coast where we could have bred in like that. Like, the only other time that I believe that I know that our family got to the western coast of Canada was in the early 1900s. Maybe late 1800s. I'm trying to remember when Great Grammy came over on the boat. Because don't you know, I actually knew the members of my family that traveled in the covered wagons.
That's actually pretty cool.
Really weird to me. Yeah, because I had my, well, she was Nana Plains. I'll just say that. Nana Plains, yeah, was my great grandma, and as far as I'm pretty sure. Dang, now I'm trying to remember the family history. I can't remember if she was born on the boat over, or if she was like really young. But yeah, like they got to go. She actually like got to travel from the east coast of the states in a covered wagon to like the west coast, like to Oregon or some region. And then they came up, and then like they came more north to Canada, and like that's the only time in our family history like that we'd had proper tie-ins to the west coast, and it's not enough to get us to be sharing DNA mark with like these rare west coast tribes. So
Yeah,
it's like,
not
yeah,
enough.
yeah. So like, not in the last 10,000 years has a member of my family thought that maybe we should get out and travel a little.
Well, what's the point?
Like I guess like maybe whatever the Viking family, like sure they left Norway, but like apparently we didn't send down roots anywhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely
Maybe,
nowhere, right?
Like maybe in like Central Europe, but then that mixes in with the other family members, so you know. Other sides of the family come from there, so is it really considered traveling?
So is it even worth it?
Like, I love that again, because I'm like, because again, I do like traveling. It's a little expensive for me now, but like I can say that I have traveled vast distances, really. Vaster distances than any of my ancestors did, apparently.
I've been more places than anybody in the history of my family.
Right? Like, dear Lord, just the fact that I crossed the ocean is like once in my life has been like one of the biggest upsets in our traveling history, it seems.
Like
It's
one of the biggest upsets
across the oceans. We went one way. Why would we go back?
Yeah, like come on.
Right
Jeez.
now, I'm just sitting here going, I want to travel more though too. And my ancestors are like, "Are you mad? There's other people in the world."
Like who wants to associate?
Like, right? Like it's exhausting. God.
And I'm sorry to everybody on the stream and the recording about all the clicking and keyboard work that you probably hear in the background. I am working tirelessly on a neat feature that will let you guys see Dark and Dorky and Plains Raider in real time when we stream.
Our stream like up to like a professional standard and stuff.
Which
you
we
and your hard-working personality.
Yeah,
whereas I just sit around going, "You go, Dorky. I'm tired."
It's all part of the creative process.
I've had to go back to my day job now, and once again, it's back to moving several tons of rock.
Back to moving all the rock.
Yay! Not hard stuff, but at the same time, it's like, it's like, woo! I'm gonna go lay down. It's like, you go, guys.
And I only work like 2 days a week for a coffee company, so like really,
kind of. I do lots of stuff actually,
which is good.
I say I do whatever the boss man says, realistically, and we do a bunch of stuff. Most of the time, it involves digging dirt, moving piles of. Because hell, somebody's got to move rock.
Yep, somebody's got to do it.
And realistically, I get paid a decent wage to move rock, which I kind of laugh at. I'm like, I remember last year there was a buddy working for us, and he's like, "Man, like for the amount that we get paid, like this is such backbreaking labor. It's like it's horrible." I'm like, I just remember like laughing at him under my breath, and I'm like, "Dude, you haven't even had to move the 2-ton pile of rock twice in a day." We were we were literally like grading out dirt and like dropping these little rock piles and stuff, and I'm laughing because there was literally one day where like we dropped a pile of rock we dropped it in the wrong place, so I had to move the pile of rock, and then I had to move what was left out of the pile, because we brought too much, into the back of the truck again. We started calculating it too, and yeah, it's like there was one day that I think we calculated between me and one other guy, we moved like 3 tons of rock.
Holy
like literal
crap.
metric tons. Because like I told him, like I made a joke about that, like about how I move a ton of rock, and I'm like, I can't be that far off actually, and he kind of like snapped up, and he's like, I could see it in his eyes, like, you're right, we do move like a literal ton of rock. And yeah, he looked it up. It's like a yard of gravel that we use, which is like, I can't remember.
I don't even think. I think even in my busiest day of the job that I had to do the most amount of like actual heavy lifting, I didn't even move that, because there's, yeah, like a bundle of shingles is around 80 pounds, and we had to move like, I think it was like 120 for this massive roof. But it's not like that we did any roofing that day. We literally just moved the bundles and placed them where they needed to go.
Place and stuff, right?
Yeah, and just got everything in place.
Yeah, I think we looked it up, and we're like, yeah, whatever the rock that we use the most of, because yeah, we use a measurement of yard, which I'm pretty sure is just a cubic yard, but I've never actually asked anybody to like say that for sure, so a yard could actually mean anything. I know that a yard is like a bucket full. Like a bucket on our skid steer is a yard.
It is a yard.
And yeah, we looked it up, and yeah, like 1 yard of this rock was like a ton. It like measured a ton, or like just over. And we laughed because we had a job where it's like we used 5 yards of rock or 4 yards of rock on or something.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and we just laughed because we're like, it just disappears at no, like, and again, it's not like we literally have to move like 1 unit. No, like we're using a shovel full at a time. Yeah, like that pile measured, like weighed 2 tons or some bullshit. And we moved it from there to there.
That's all we did.
Yeah, right? And again, I kind of laugh. It's like, that is a lot of my... And I just remember laughing at the one guy. It's like, man, it's like too much labor. Like when you could go, I don't know, do something up north for like 35 or 40 bucks an hour. And I'm like, okay. I also get to go home at night. I purposely work in a way that I don't actually hurt myself. Because did you know that if you try to go full bore at several tons of rock in like an 8-hour period, you're not going to have a good time at the end?
Oh, heck no, you're not. I kind of don't.
As I say, I go for efficiency without breaking.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have a different mentality than I found a lot of people comes to... I don't have to go in anymore, he texted me.
Planes, you don't work today?
Apparently. I thought I was going to have to, but my one buddy messaged me saying that like it probably wasn't actually that bad. And I said okay, because like again, like, well, as I was telling you earlier, I could use the extra hours, realistically, I very rarely will I say no to more hours on a paycheck, but like bloody blah. But yes, he did message me and say that he seemingly has it like well in hand, so
nice.
So yeah, I assume that he should be pretty good. There's always more stuff to do, don't you know? But yeah, in that respect, I'm okay.
That's
more
sweet.
Floettes. All the different flowers. I do actually like how in this game they did give a different description for like each of the special, what do you want to call it, the varieties of Pokemon.
Oh yeah, the
pavilions have a little change. I think I noticed on their pattern. All the Floettes have a different description based on like what flower color they have and what it does for them.
Yeah, and the little bit of just the extra tidbits of information that keep the game kind of.
Yeah, right. I like it. Again, the Pokedex is always probably really the funnest part of a game. Just because I've had so much enjoyment over the years of like the crazy Pokedex entries, like, oh my god.
where it's just like, what the heck is going on with that poor animal, right?
Right. Like, one of my favorites still has got to be just, like, the very offhand notion that Maycargo's body temperature is hotter than the sun.
It just makes
I was gonna say, they just threw
no
that
sense
in there, but, like, that's canon. At some point in the Pokemon universe, like, yeah, he's able to concentrate, like, heat that goes absolutely insane.
And to me, that is just absolutely cray-cray. But it's amazing at the same go.
Yeah,
that there is a slug somewhere in this world that you will literally incinerate just by being within
a volcano.
It is. It pretty much is. It's hotter than that, man.
Right. And just like, again, the little background, like just that little fill in the gaps where it's like, they had to get that info. Like, somebody had to study these enough and in close enough proximity. Like, my favorite one being Yamask, and how we know in Pokemon world, it has apparently been recorded and documented that if you put the mask of a Yamask on, you will be taken over by that spirit, and the spirit will just walk away and try to use your body.
Yep.
That's something they tested. Like, they seen that happen so that they could write it down. Did we take the masks off? What happened when we take the masks off? Or is there just, like, a colony of herded, like, Yamask-wearing people that we just have cordoned off somewhere for observation?
Like SCP in Pokemon, right?
Because then into the world with the rest of the people, will they just try to put more masks on regular? Like, are we?
What's gonna happen?
Like, a millennia-old assault on our timeline?
Like, what will happen?
Is the kingdom from the past that Yamask come from? Because I believe that's another part of the, like, of the lore of Yamask, or like the Pokedex entries of Yamask, is like, it was something to do with, like, they came from a specific civilization or something too. And again, they have the memories of being human. We call them Pokemon, but it is very clearly stated.
What's even worse is they cry about it.
Yeah, they look at their masks and they cry, remembering the life they used to have.
Yep. I used to be a mailman!
Yeah, the Pokemon world is terrifying. Like, and we
honest to God is
into this.
It honest to God is terrifying.
Into the world. Like,
go children!
Where Yamask is, where Driftloom exists. It is a Pokemon that all the entries are about how this Pokemon tries to kill children.
Because
I don't know that Driftloom has gotten a non-murdery entry yet.
I don't think they have or will get a non-murdery entry.
I remember how there was, like, one entry about how, like, Driftloom doesn't like... It's either, like, it doesn't like fat kids, because, like, they're heavy to lift, or it's like, you make children wear weighted shoes when Driftloom are about. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, I think it's the weighted shoes.
I mean, like, I live in a part of the world where, like, yeah, sometimes there's an advisory where you can't go swimming in the runoff pond because of, like, algae, but we don't have public service announcements of wear your weighted shoes today so your kids don't get murdered by animals.
Yeah, I've heard of an Amber Alert, not a balloon alert.
Like, again, we got the maybe don't go walking in the woods by the river alone because coyotes and cougars, not if you're playing in the park, a balloon might try and kill you.
Because why wouldn't it?
And it's
They're psychos!
Balloon! It's not like a random event. The balloon sees your child and is like, kill the child.
Kill him. The child must die.
Yeah, right, for the good of the Pokeverse, I must take as many children with me as I can. Again, what ghost are you to be trapped in a balloon and become murderous.
Like to that extent, even, right?
There's a child ghost that gets stuck in a stump because it got lost in the woods, but like I don't actually think it actively murders people. Like,
no, it's got better things to do. It protects the forest.
Right? Like, even in its entries, it's like, it's not an active murder. Like, any ghost Pokemon, sure, it has death in its life, but, like, it doesn't actively seek out and hurt people. Like, yeah, it protects the forest, and I think, again, it's like it likes to play with children because it is a child. But, yeah, it's not like Driftwoom, where it's like, again, we catch this Pokemon, and, like, it's actively trying to murder you.
It's like, yeah, have you met my Drifloon? It's like, where'd my baby
you
go?
Have one of those monsters.
Yeah, you are a psychopath, sir. How could you have this in your household?
How could you have the balloon that wants to kill people?
Why did CPS get called on you? Well, you see, I have this balloon that apparently is a wanted child abductor, and it just became a thing.
Oh God, that's
dare I say?
Yeah, so you end up on the wrong list in the Pokemon universe, and you die, and you become a balloon. Oh my God! Why did you have to? No. Yeah, it's about dying in the right/wrong place, and then boom, you're a ghost Pokemon.
Yeah, you're a ghost now. This is your life.
That's how it. Essentially every ghost Pokemon has some horrifying aspect to them because of Ghost.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple maybe, like, mixed typings where they don't get directly into the horror. Like, Skeledirge. I don't know if, like, I don't remember in his entry if he has, like, horror, but I also assume
I don't think he is. I think he's literally just a ghost dog. I think that's how they played him out.
No, I'm talking about, like, your fire guy, not just the dog.
Oh, sorry, Skeledirge.
Like, even then, I assume that Skeledirge has an entry where it's like, yeah, when he yells into his microphone bird, he shreds the soul from your body or something.
You know, it sounds reminiscent of it. Here, let's see, Skeledirge.
Like, again, just because Annihilape's up there, it's like Annihilape has, like, even his, like, it's not, like, world-affecting horror, but, like, he still got so mad and punchy that his heart gave out, and then he just kept punching. He is just, like, again, a walking zombie of nothing rage.
Okay,
so much hate and rage that his heart gave out because of how mad he is.
As it would to a Mankey, right?
Yeah, right, which again makes sense. Which again also makes sense because I think an early entry in one of the early Pokedex entries for Primeape, I do believe, does state how it can work itself into such a tizzy that its heart stops.
It does. That is a thing. It does say that in one of the Pokedex entries.
I can't remember if that was like
you can't work them up too much; they can get so mad that they will die.
Kind of like how you have to be really careful with your Beware, because if you make your Beware too happy with you, it will kill you.
With a hug.
Yeah, with a hug. It loves you.
Yeah, it loves you to death.
But also, you're gonna die.
Because he loves you so much.
Don't forget that. Entry. Many trainers have died. It's like, what?
Well, it's kind of like how many trainers have died just by being curious of their Mimikyu. What's under the sheet? And they not just die, they painfully and agonizingly die. That's canon.
We've done enough research to know that it's not a quick death.
Yep.
It's again just horrifying.
You know, like Meowth actually looked underneath the blanket and was pulled out. Like in canon, like Jesse and James Meowth.
Him?
No, they didn't kill him. He survived looking underneath of a blanket, like underneath of a Mimikyu blanket.
He is the strongest among us.
It's Meowth. I'm sorry, like
also,
Team Rocket's Meowth is a straight up G.
He's amazingly superpowered.
He can talk.
He taught himself to talk through sheer force of will, which means that all other Pokemon are fucking with us. Meowth
That is
learned to talk
true.
watching like a yoga class or some shit. It wasn't even like
It was an English class.
Wanting to talk.
No, it was an English class, and he took it upon himself. Yeah.
Did he? Okay. I'm like, I can't even remember if it was like an actual school class. I just remember him like watching people from the ceiling, and he's like, "Oh, I can talk."
Yeah, through the skylight.
And nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, no one cares. Honestly, Giovanni is such a jerk. I hate Giovanni for his lack of respect.
And he's all like,
Persian, but my Persian
doesn't want to talk to me because it's an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, at least bring Meowth into your inner circle to teach your other Pokemon. If you could teach the smaller Pokemon to properly talk and do the spy part of your freaking criminal organization.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Again, Meowth can pass off that he can't talk, and he's just, a Pokecat. And then he comes back to you, and he's like, oh yeah, boss, here's all the credit card numbers, the PIN things, the bank accounts. Because people don't not talk around animals. Especially the Pokeverse, where it's like, we know that they understand they understand the complexities of our language.
Somehow.
Because again, you can give a Pokemon detailed instructions on doing stuff, and they can and will go off and do it. Like, as I say, the Poke world is so... I love it. Again, whatever that is, like 25 plus years of random world building and just all the fun we get into with that.
Because it is Pokemon. That is why.
Right? Kind of like breaking into the back when it was super cool to know everything about Marvel movies. Freaking, like, I was the one in my little group, and, like, I had the comic info, whereas, like, other buddies were were watching the movies, so, like, we used to have, like, discussions on kind of, like, how we thought the next movies were gonna go, like, especially, like, when we were getting into Infinity War and Endgame. Like, we were having movie discussions and stuff, and, look, and, like, one buddy is, again, like, just, like, strictly movies. So, like, we're talking about superheroes and, like, who can do what and, like, blah de blah, and yeah, I would always be the one, like, having to break out comic info, because I'm like, well, like, if they're gonna use pre-established information to try and, like, to bolster up the movie universe, and it's like, this is what they've already done in the blah de blah. And, like, oh my god, knowing comic canon is hilarious. The amount of things that have legitimately happened in, like, well, both Marvel and DC. I know Marvel a little bit more just because they kind of have that, like, weird refusal where they're like, we are never going to, like, revamp our timeline, as it were. It's like everything has always happened.
It's always happened, forever will.
Yeah, right? Like, since we started writing these characters, they have been the same character, even though they have 100% not been.
And they've never... Yeah, it's just...
But technically speaking, all the things that Professor X did, like, when he was super weird back in the 60s, or whatever it was when they started getting published, is all, like, the current Charles Xavier did that shit. Up to and including having sexual feelings for, like, 17-year-old Jean Grey or whatever bullshit that was. Which, an evil psychic entity that was the amalgamation of Magneto and Professor X's brain, used that information to try and turn Jean Grey against Professor X.
How dare you! And
she was all like, what? But you're like a father to me. And he's like, and that's why I didn't act on shit. She's all like, because
it would have been gross.
And I was gonna say, not that it wasn't creepy and gross, and, like, again, just a really weird sideline for them to, like, throw in the... I think it was, like, the first X-Men? It's, like, one random line. I don't even, like, realistically use it in storylines after that. But yeah, they just have to mention in, like, one little thought bubble that Professor X is in love with Jean Grey.
They just had to throw that in there because, why not? Wholesome family entertainment.
Yeah, right? Like, again, I don't think it really, like, realistically comes up in a meaningful way. Like, again, like, I don't, not that I know, like, old school X-Men. Like most people, a lot of my information starts at the Chris Claremont era, which is kind of like 80s, 90s X-Men.
80s, not. Oh yeah.
So
okay.
If you remember the 90s cartoon, a lot of that is like based off of Chris Claremont's time on X-Men. If I'm remembering it right.
Just yeah.
He's just like the writer that made so much like classical and like ingrained X-Men lore. Like, I think Chris Claremont was writing when Wolverine's like Weapon X stuff was getting established and explored. I think he was at the helm when they did. Dude, it was like the second X-Men team. The one where like Wolverine joined, Colossus was on it. I think which one were they? The Uncanny X-Men or something?
The Uncanny.
Well, like, yeah, because I'm trying to remember, because again, and especially when it comes to X-Men, it's like whatever the prefix to their X is changes it entirely. Astonishing X-Men is a completely different idea from like, oh shoot, what's the other one? I was literally just saying. I don't know. It gets like, yeah, the Uncanny X-Men are different from like, yeah, the double issue X-Men or something. I don't know. It all gets weird. There's so much X-Men lore that you can study it separately from the rest of the Marvel universe. They got so much of their own shit going on.
Well, there's a lot of shit that just goes on in the X-Men universe in general, right? Please just open up.
Especially considering that, like, they are consistently some of the most powerful beings in, like, the Marvel universe. Like again, Jean Grey's power in itself is, like, tremendous, let alone the fact that she is, like, the only proper conduit for a being that represents the entirety of life that will ever exist and ever be. That's like the Phoenix's whole shtick, by the way. If y'all heard of Phoenix or the Dark Phoenix, it's really fun because it gets really esoteric in Marvel Universe, because the Phoenix is the singular representation of all life that has ever been and ever will be but it's also one thing.
She is a singularity.
Yes, but she represents, like, multiversal power. So, like, the Phoenix is actually, like, beyond terrifying, because, like, the only reason the Phoenix doesn't blow up everything is because of writers.
Yes, like, and the fact that they go on strike so often.
And if we blow up the universe too many times and we can't keep stories about it.
Indeed.
But, oh, shoot, what's the other part of it, too? But, like, yeah, the X-Men are, like, always, like, in the top tiers of power. If you don't have an X-Men, like, somebody who's been on the X-Men, or, like, a mutant, when you're going for, like, a world-class threat, then, like, you're not trying.
Yeah, you're just not trying hard enough. Get that Spider-Man in there.
Oh, he's not technically mutant.
He's not. He's a mutant.
Yes, a mutate. An enhanced individual. Completely different from being born with the mutacious X gene in your DNA.
Just like... Oh, wow, I'm cutting out the stream again like a dum-dum. Just like, drumroll please, Deadpool. Deadpool is a mutant.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Who had some level of superpowers before...
Well, they say superpowers in the form of, like, everybody that ever has anything to do in a comic book is always tougher, stronger, and faster than your average human. Like, all of them.
All of them, every last one of them. Stop, like computer! Even, God, I hate it when it does that.
What was it? Like, even eventually they added to Deathstroke, like, literal surgical enhancements, because they're like, yeah, we just keep making this guy, like, better and better at martial arts, and it's getting unbelievable.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand here.
So they actually, like, put it in his backstory that he's, like, had surgery and drugs and, like, actual, like, augmentations.
He's had some serious augmentations going on.
Like, yeah, like, now, I think, like, Deathstroke even has, like, a mind ability. Because, like, Deadpool, his ripoff, got so popular with it. That now it's like, yeah, you can cut Deathstroke and, like, he'll heal from a sword cut in, like, 24 hours.
Yeah.
Or less or something.
Because, DC has always been known as the unrealistic of the two universes.
I always liked the one description of Marvel is the story, is, like, the way that they write them is usually about, like, man becoming gods, where DC kind of write their stories as, like, gods becoming man.
Yeah.
Like, I always kind of like that description. It's not a universal across, like, all their stories, obviously. Like, obviously, one of Marvel's biggest Avengers is literally a god. Go Thor.
Yeah, actually, no, that is true. Sorry, for a second I thought you were talking about DC. I'm like, no. Superman is god-like. He is not a god.
They have Wonder Woman. She's technically now a god.
That is true.
Yeah, in the beginning she was just an Amazonian, which, like, still made her, like, way more powerful than anybody else, but at least I guess they could have retconned it back. I actually, like, now that I think about it, I'm like, I'm weirdly underupdated. I don't know, underinformed about current comic state, like the state of comics right now. But yeah, I do remember that when I, like, way back when I was still paying attention to stuff properly, yeah, the status quo was Wonder Woman was, like, at least officially a daughter of Zeus. Like, yeah, she was still born from, like, her Amazon mother, but she was, like, a natural born child of Zeus, which made her, like, an epic demigod on top of her being an Amazon. And then at some point, I believe she also acquired the mantle of God of War from Ares, although that could have been a side story.
That is actually a very strong potential.
Because, again, she's always fighting Ares, and there's, like, a thing about, like, in DC about how, like, anybody that Ares can never be defeated because somebody will just put on the helmet that the god uses and then, like, become Ares. Or something.
Some plot armored crap like that.
I know it ended up getting confusing, especially at this one point when they're like, surprise, the gods are dead. But also maybe not really. That part I never actually, like, fully committed to understanding. I just know at some point the big twist reveal of Wonder Woman was that the Amazons were actually, like, all dead. It's like ever since Diana, like, left Themyscira, their island, it's like they either died or they, like, shifted into another dimension or something. Their whole thing was like anytime Diana said that she was going off to, like, visit Themyscira, she was actually, like, essentially having a psychotic moment. Because she'd just, like, go off and, like, think that she was visiting her friends and family on Themyscira. But I also cannot remember how they ever resolved that timeline. Like, how they resolved that. I also got very confused at a certain point as to what was actually happening in DC land, because as far as I could tell from, like, an actual production standpoint, I think they literally had publishing issues, and, like, certain stories weren't released, like, when they should have been.
Okay, so
like,
it's
for instance, like, because one of the last big stories that I tried to, like, keep up with from DC Because, like, it is so weirdly hard to find comic books in my area. I'm, like, there's gotta be a store, but I can't find it. But yeah, like, one of the last things I was paying a lot of attention to was Doomsday Clock, which was a pseudo timeline reset, but the main shtick was it was bringing the Watchmen universe into the DC canon.
Oh.
Because, like, whatever, it was like Watchmen was just published by DC, written by, I think, Neil Gaiman, but I honestly can't remember right now. And yeah, like, it was just a different universe. I think when it was originally published, it was supposed... what was it? Right, it was originally going to be published, I think, under an old label called Charleston. And it was going to use, like, they were a comic book company way back when that went out of business, but they were going to use a bunch of characters from them. But then DC, like, ended up buying, like, the rights, I think, to almost, like, every Charleston Comics character. So they had to swap them out, because DC was bringing them into their universe, and the way that they were getting written for Watchmen, that was not gonna jive.
That not going to jive at all.
Yeah, so they made an entirely new universe with a new cast of characters, let them sit off in their own little world for whatever that was, like 30, 40 years or more. And then, yeah, then they decided that, like, you know what? People like the Watchmen. Let's make modern DC Watchmen. Except they also kind of didn't.
Like, they did, but they didn't at the same time.
Yeah, and that's, like, where I remember a lot of weird, like, what's happening in DC issues came up, because as far as I can recall from, like, the one guy that I remember watching, I want to say that, like, Doomsday Clock spiraled almost, like, 6 months or maybe even, like, 2 years longer than it should have been. Because, like, they were releasing it, like, they, like, pushed back its publication dates, like, they almost doubled the amount of time in between each issue while they were issuing it, I think it was. Like, it was going to be something like a bi-weekly or, like, a monthly issue, and then they turned it into, like, a bi-monthly issuing, which, like, threw it out of whack with other stories that were being produced at the time, because Doomsday Clock was, yeah, like, establishing a change to the timeline.
Oh.
But then they had other stories that were already, like, implementing that timeline change, because, again, they're all being written in-house at the same time, but nobody knew what was happening because the comics with the information that they relied on hadn't been published yet or some shit. It got messy.
It sounds like it got messy.
Yeah, because,
like, it sounds like it got really messy, actually.
I was gonna say, so, like, I should check back now, because I'm like, I feel like they've had, like, more than enough time to try and get things kind of, like, handled again, but I also realized that, like, I just fell out of, like, keeping up on comics for a bit. It also didn't help that, like, I was trying to keep up with, like, Marvel movies and stuff, and I can't.
They're really hard to keep up with now. They just pump them out.
Yeah, like, again, like, yeah, I'm not against the added Marvel stuff. Like, again, like, I've always liked superheroes, so, like, I'm not against there being superhero revivals and stuff. But yeah, like, the fact that they're still trying to make it seem, it's like, no, you gotta watch everything if you want to know what's happening. It's all important and built up. And I'm like, okay, what's the importance of Loki?
Yeah, what is the importance of Loki?
It's an amazing series. I actually do love it. It's probably, like, my favorite thing out of, like, the random Marvel TV shows and stuff, but, like, they've established huge consequential things if they're going to be, like, if they're trying to keep, again, the Marvel Cinematic Universe all together in a coherent structure, but, like, what was the point of it then? Like, what are we building up to?
Yeah, what exactly is this going to lead up to at the end?
Which just, again, might be me being like, but, like, that was, like, the coolest thing about, what would that be? The Infinity Saga, I think they call it now? The first 4 phases, I think it was? That, like, yeah, Like, sure, the movies were standalone and, like, they had their own shit to do, but, like, yeah, they were building to a centralized point.